Hello everyone, I proudly welcome you to this Microsoft Access Database tutorial brought to you by Akos Datatex. I'm your instructor in this video. Akos Smiler is my name. Guys, in this video I'm sharing with you on how to create a simple stock in and stock out management database in Microsoft Access. In other words, we're going to create a simple inventory database in Microsoft Access to handle our stock in, stock out, reorder levels, and then also shows us, available quantity of each product at hand. This is indeed going to be a very wonderful ride. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, guys, kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on the little bell notification icon, so that anytime that we do upload a helpful tutorial as this one, you will receive a notification from YouTube so that you don't miss any of these videos. Guys, I am also proud to share with you that come on the 5th through 8th of July 2025, we are going to have our first class in Microsoft Access, which will be about creating a POS system in Microsoft Access. If a student wanted to do a database project in Microsoft Access, this will be a very helpful or very useful class for you. I'm encouraging you to do check in the description for the link to do the registration. Also, the flyer is right here posted on the screen. If you want to join the class, kindly do well to scan the QR code and then do register. Upon registration, you'll be redirected to join a WhatsApp platform where subsequent information will be communicated. Okay guys, so furthermore, if you are also a developer wanting to have a database project for the market, I think that POS is one of those useful ones that you can never regret learning to develop. So I encourage all of you to do register. If you have questions about this class, either you email me personally or you drop it in the comment sections also for me. Alright guys, so I received, this is a video that I uploaded, this is a tutorial that we uploaded 2 years ago, teaching inventory management system in Microsoft Access, but this appeared to be very basic, unable to solve most of your problems. So in response to the complaints and in response to the queries that have come to us so far, that is why we've decided to come up with this very video to solve all of our needs. I believe that this is going to cater for all of the things you will need to know in setting up an inventory, a simple inventory database. If it has to do with an inventory, the most important part has to do with stocking in, stocking out, and then being able to issue alerts on reorder and then quantity available. Okay guys, so let us jump right in here. So we have this inventory table. So how is it going to be useful to our project here? So just to shorten the length of this very tutorial, that is why I've decided to pre-made these worksheets, which we will be further importing into Microsoft Access as tables. So we have our product worksheet here, which will go into Microsoft Access as a product table, and then supplier. So this is going to be our supplier table as well, and then we have category. Alright, so once we have this table imported into Microsoft Access, then we'll be able to do some couple of additions that are needed and then just start. But then guys, it's actually up to yours. I will be sharing this very project together with all the files, but then if you would like to create everything right from scratch in Microsoft Access, I think that is also a best way to go about it. Alright guys, so let us jump right into Microsoft Access and then start our project. Before then, I am going to close this workbook. Okay, so let me save it. Now right in here in our inventory database folder, I will right click to create. We start by creating a blank database. So we right click, we go to new, then we click Microsoft Access. So this tells our Windows OS that we want to create a Microsoft Access blank database file. So we click here. Now at this point we enter the title of the application file. So we are going to say inventory management database. Okay, so this is the name of our application, inventory management database. So let us double click to enter the project. Okay guys, so we are right here. So let us click to enable the content so that we'll be able to do updates or editing to this very project. Okay, now that we are here, in a previous video I showed you guys on how to get rid of the file path attached to this by going to the backstage view and then going to options, and then here in current database you enter the specific or that title you would like to display solely at the top here. Okay, so in this video I'm not going to bother myself with that. That is not a focus point for this very video. Okay guys, so before we create or before we add up some tables, let's go ahead to import the very ones that we had shown already in Microsoft Access, or we have created already in Microsoft Excel, sorry. All right, so we'll go to external data. So here I am actually using Access 2016 version. So I will go to new, new, from file, then we go to Excel. We want to import an Excel file, so here we click browse. All right, so right in here I will go to my desktop, and then here inventory database. So this is the Excel file or the workbook that has our worksheet. So we click here. Now here we would like to only import the source data into a new table without creating any link. So we click browse, okay, to browse. Now here are the various worksheets that we can import. So first I will start with product. Then once you highlight product, you go to next. So first row contains heading. Is it really true? Yes, our first row, as we can see here, contains our heading. So we go to next. All right, so now here this helps you to double check the various data type of this very table. Next. Now, would you like Microsoft Access to add a primary key? Yes, that is exactly what we would like to do, because you could see that our Excel sheet did not come with an ID column, but then we would like to have this ID columns created in Microsoft Access. Alright, so let Access add primary key. Yes, but then in case you had a column that could be used as a primary key, then instead you will click here and you assign that column as a primary key. Here it would be advisable for us to assign product name as a primary key, because we assume that there's going to be a possibility whereby some product names will be very close, or some product names will be even the same. So it isn't ideal for us to, and you choosing to assign product name as a primary key means that any point in time you will have to enter a product name to identify records. We wouldn't like to do that. So just go to let Access add a primary key, so that Access will use the auto numbering column to take care of the identification for us. Okay, so for those of you that will be new to databases, when we say a primary key, so think of, in the national database of your country, your ID card is a primary key, because that entry or that ID recognizes only you in that database. But chances are that there could be more than two persons having your name, but then the IDs will be different. So if we want to actually find you in the national database, your country government wouldn't use your name, although in there are some few scenarios where they will use your name, but then ideally speaking, it is probable and it's safer, and it's also expedient for them to use the ID, because the ID identifies you only. So primary keys are for identification purposes. Okay, so now we go to next. All right, so now here I will say product, and then I'll click finish. All right, so no need for us to save the import step, so I will click close at this point. So now we have our first table imported for us here. So when we double click here, this is what we have. Now we can add and then also do any kind of updates to this very table. We will come to that. So let me save. Now let's go ahead to import the remaining table. So from file, quickly this time around I will run through very quickly. Inventory table, then we click in here. Let me import supplier. So first row contains headings exactly. Okay, so here supplier name. Now if it has to do with supplier, so if it has to do with a supplier, let me go to next. Here too, I will let access add a primary key for me. Now supplier, we are done. Let me close this guy. Now we import the final files, the final worksheet. So we click here. Okay, so that is category. First row contains, that's true. Now we expect the category names to be unique. So here we will actually be so here everything is okay. We go to next. Now here we wouldn't like Microsoft Access to we don't have to bother access to add a primary key. Instead, we can click here to choose our category name as a primary key on the assumption or the presumption that category names are going to be distinct, which is exactly so. So guys, now we are here. Alright, so now let's confirm we have categories. Now we have products table, which have product name, the unit price, the reorder level. So the reorder level is actually the minimum stock level, below which access or the database will be expected to give us a notification that hey, you are actually running out of stock. Yeah. Then we also have our suppliers here. Alright guys, so I think we are good to go. So now what we'll have to do is that we are going to add the categories because products will have to be assigned to categories. So I would like us to add a category column and then also the photo column as well. Alright, so here we are. I will select category. I will add in a category as a column. Now because we want to pick those categories from the category table, so I will click here, then look up wizard. So here we would like the lookup flow to get the values from another table or query, which is what needs to be selected. Go to next, category name, exactly. So now let's do some kind of sorting by category name. Next. Okay, so here I will activate the data integrity and restrict the delete. Okay, so we have saved this table. Now I will also add photo, and now the data type needs to be attachments. Alright, so now we save this guy, we save this, and now we can view. Alright guys, so now you can see that we are able to assign each of our products to a category. So rice, you assign it to groceries. Now t-shirt, you actually assign it to clothing. Now in notebook, you assign it to stationery. And then AGMI, you can also assign this one to electronics. Alright, so if you want to insert a product photo, you double click here. Now you click add and then you can browse, but we'll be doing that one later on in the video using forms. Okay, so we have products, and now we have our suppliers, and now we also have our categories. Alright guys, so having done this, now the next thing that we would like to create is a stock or the transactions table. The transactions table, which is a very important table as far as this database or this project is concerned. So here we go to create. Now we go to table design. So say transaction, we can just say trans ID, and it should be auto number primary key. Okay, so here we'll say product ID. So product ID should be number. Now this is a foreign key. Let's take note that this is a foreign key which will this references product ID in product table. So later we'll be doing this linkage beautifully. Okay, so now we have transaction ID, we have the product ID. So we also need the dates. So we have dates. We can also keep track of time. So we have time. Okay. Now we wouldn't like the client or we wouldn't like the users to be entering date and time. So we'll keep them at default. So to set the date to be default, we say equal to date. And now here we do equal to time. So record that This function equal to time output the system, the time at the time of the system. So whichever time it keeps track of doing this helps the database to keep track automatically of the time and date at which records come into the data tables, which is very, very much ideal or useful. All right, so now the next thing will have to do with the type, the transaction type. So the transaction type, I would like to make it put some options in there. So it's a lookup. Let's type in the values that we want. So we are going to have stock in, and then we are going to have stock out as well. Now we go to next, limit to list. Okay. All right, so now if it has to do with stock in, let's choose supplier. So here too, we already have our supplier, so we go to lookup wizard. First option needs to be selected. Now we have our suppliers here. We go in here, supplier name is what we need in the option list. Now here, let us sort by the supplier. We sort by supplier name. We go to next. Now we can actually extend these guys. We go to next as well. We enable data integrity. Keeping delete restricted is ideal. Now we click finish. Okay, so it says that now doing this, anytime you create a lookup by using the values from another table, automatically prompt access to establish a relationship. And this approach to relationship creation is very much useful and essential and time saving if you were when you are creating databases, particularly for company businesses use and all that. But then in the setting of academics, it's usually advisable to stick to the traditional relationship creating norms, whereby you will have to go to relationship and then you join the primary key with a foreign key. There has not been much videos of that sort in this very channel. Maybe in the future we look forward to be creating that. You could see that if you have been following our videos, most of the relationship that we have been creating, we do use, or we've been using the lookup, which is very much faster, and time saving as well. Yeah, so by creating a lookup, access now is able to smartly detect that a relationship has to be established, and now we click yes to save the table. So guys, we say that TBL transactions, now we are here. All right, so now if it has to do with stock in, supplier will have to be chosen. Now if it has to do with stock out, let us also, if it has to do with stock out, there should also be a specification. I mean, stocking out, is it based on are we delivering it? Is it that it has been sold? Is it that it is bought? Is it that it's being transferred? Some kind of thing like that. Yeah, so yeah, I just feel the need to include this. Maybe some of you will need it in your project to further specify the means of the stock out as well. So we say that stock out type. So this will also be a lookup wizard. This should also be a lookup wizard. We will type in the values that we want. We go to next. So say bots. Maybe these products were bots. Sports. Then maybe other. Yeah. We limit to list. Now we click finish. All right. So now here, guys, we will save this very table here. So here we are. All right, so we are not going to create forms for all of because we want to keep this tutorial as short as possible. We are not creating forms for all tables here. So however, I'll be creating forms for products and then transactions and some couple of reports as well. Yeah. All right, guys, so now here let us go ahead to create our first form for this product table. So we go to create. Now go to form wizard. Now we will actually need everything here. So we go to next, column now is okay for us. Now we would like to modify the form design. Alright, so here we are. Now the first thing I would like us to do is to edit these controls to ensure that they are of uniform sizes. So I will select all of them, then size. Here I will go to first narrowest. Okay, now here we can actually extend these guys. So let's suppose we have this. Okay, now another thing I would like to do is to resize this guy, which is a product icon, and then I will drag it all the way to this part. Okay, so instead I will bring this guy here, and then we select everything here. Now, so size 12 is okay for us. Now let's also choose our color to be black. Okay, so here I would like to add columns. I would like to add columns here, columns here, column here, column here. Now for this, we are actually going to center align, and then we shape fill. So we shape fill with this. Now we are going to say product information, or simply product is okay. Okay, so here now we click this guy, we choose this, let's select this. Now this is okay for us. Okay guys, so now let us go to the form view to see how this form is looking. Yeah, so now this is what we've managed to create so far. Now to let us go ahead to improve on the design. So another thing we can do is that we can change this guy to this, or better still, we can actually use the blue color. I hope most of you will prefer the blue color. Okay, so we use this, and now let me shorten this guy here, center align. Okay, now guys, let's see. Alright, so I think this looks better than the first color. Okay, so now the first thing we'd like to do is to insert an icon here to let everyone know, or to prompt our data entry personnel or our end users that indeed this is an attachment or a photo field. So to do that, we click here, then we go to insert, we browse. So here I will go to images, and I have this very attachment icon here, so I'll click to add. Now another very important thing, this time around, let's go ahead to view the form to see. So this is how the form actually looks. But then in certain cases, you may, depending on the version of access you will be using, it may not actually stretch itself automatically to occupy the entire area, beautiful as you can see here. So in that case, what you can do is that you will have to come to picture size mode, and then you click stretch. So let me actually do that, so that whichever picture we insert here is going to be stretched out for us. Okay guys, so now let's see guys. Now this is what we have. So if you want to insert a picture, you double click here, and then you are good to go. Alright, so now let us add some couple of buttons. But before then, I would like to center align these guys. So I'll click here, then center align, so that all our text will be aligned to the center for us. So guys, let us now go ahead to insert some couple of buttons here. Alright, so the first button we are going to insert is the add new button. So we click, and then let add it here. So the add new button is at record operation, so we go to add new record, and then this is what we need. Before then, let us use a test, so we say new product, new product, we go to next, finish. Now the next button is going to be the save button, so we click here. Now with this one, I would like to add a VBA code, so save, change. Okay, so right click this, build event, code builder, which opens a VBA IDE for us. So here we say that DCMD dot refresh. So this is a code we'll have to add. Do cmd dot refresh. Okay, so now let us add one more called the delete button. So we click here, record operation, delete record, next. Now we come in here, delete products, finish. Okay guys, so the next thing I will do is to select these and then place them at the center. Now let us do a little formatting let us apply a little formatting to improve the look of these buttons. So to do that, we go to the top, the contextual menu, quick styles. So right in here from quick styles, we can actually apply these styles here. Alright, so let me still change this to 12, save this guy. Now let's view. Okay guys, so now this is how our form is actually looking. I guess this will have to come to the middle a little bit, so we select these guys and then we put them up here, and then let's thread this guy as well. Alright, so now that we have this, let us go on to see. So let's suppose you want to add a new product. Maybe you want to add a config, so we say that Selena canned fish 2.3 or something like that. Unit price is $12.6. Then the reorder level is 50. Category, so category, let's say groceries. Now click here, I'll add a picture. So here, let me go back here. So this is the picture I would like to add for this product. Now click here. So guys, now once I save, you can see that it has been added to, once I refresh here, Selena canned fish has been added to our table as we want. Okay, so another thing, now let us try adding the photos of this product. So HDMI adapter, I will double click here, I'll go to add. Now let's open this folder. So I guess that is this guy, HDMI adapter. Now we click here and then we are good to go. I think this should be this one instead. Okay, so now notebook, double click. So this is our notebook. Okay, t-shirts. We have a t-shirt icon, a very beautiful one here. So here we go. Now rice. So we have rice also here. This is our rice. Now there we go. Now we have USB cable. So USB cable, let's choose this one. Okay, so due to one or two reasons, this one isn't showing, so guys, we will make this one for now. Okay guys, so now we've managed to create our products form and then neatly inserted the various icons of the products as well. Alright, so now to make the search so easy, you can use this one. So maybe HDMI, if you want to search, you can use this one to search, or you can also add a combo here. So let's go on to add a combo to help us with the search. Alright, so to do that, we actually come to the form design contextual option. Now we click combo. So here we add a combo. So for this combo, we actually we'll be using this combo to do search records or search products in this form. So we will have to choose the third option. We go to next. Now product name should come. Then you can choose to add the ID or also the category. So I'll go to next. Let me expand this. So for each product in a combo, category will also pop up. Now here I will say that search. Then I will hit finish. Okay, so let me expand this, guys. Alright. Okay, so now here what I will do is to change this color to white, and then now here too I'll right click this guy, special effects, we choose sync, or instead let's use, sorry guys, let's use this instead. We fill this, we fill it with the color should be black, and then the shape fill should be white. Okay, so now guys, let us see how this actually works. So if you want to search a product, you click here, and now the product is here. You click, and now you can type. So once you click maybe Selena, you hit enter, and automatically shows you the product that you want. Okay, so before we go on to create our transaction form, I want us to create product price labels. So we go to create report wizard, here product name, unit price. Now we will need a photo, so we go to next. So let us sort by product name. We go to next. Now do you want a tabular or a columnar? So here I prefer columnar. Next, so I will say RPT products labels. So let's preview the report to see how it looks. Okay, so this is what we have now here. So these are products. So we go to next, our product labels here. Alright, so let's see some couple of formattings we can do to this report. So here we can double click in here. Let's change this to white. Now also here instead we'll say products. Okay, so now at this point I would like to resize this a little bit, and then I will select picture size mode should be stretched, and then also we can actually select the whole of this and then choose this black color for that. Okay, so let's choose a black color here. We will bold this guy, so we can also bold these guys as well. Alright guys, so let's save this guy. Now we review, and now we can see the product labels neatly created for us here. So this is a product label. Okay, so if you want to do away with this alternate gray white color, what you do is that you come in here to the detail section of the report, right click, alternate view, back color, you set it to none. And once you set it to none, so if you set it to none, now you see that you have your product labels without any alternating colors at the background. Okay guys, so this is our product label. So we can add a print button. So we go to design view. If you want to print, you add a print button. So to add a print button, you click button here. So we add print. This button should do printing for us. So do print. Now here right click, build events, macro builder. Now you say print object, and that is the only command that we need in the macro to do printing. Okay, so here we go to format. Now we select this guy here as the format or as a star. So once we click here, we are able to, or we can also print preview by right clicking there and then print preview. Okay guys, so now we can close our product label. Let us save this. Alright, so now we go to the transaction table, which is the mainstay of this very database, the most important table of this very database. So here, before then, let's cross check that everything is right, everything is okay. So here, now before you go ahead to create a transaction table, you think of would you like to create use a tabular form, use a data sheet, or you would like to use a columnar form. So I would like us to instead use a columnar form, then rather keep a data sheet at the other side to keep, or a list box at the other side to show us the various details. So guys, enough of the talking, let's go ahead to do it. So we go to create here. Now we go to form wizard. So here we will need transaction ID, product ID, date will come. Then we go to transaction type. So here guys, I think we can actually omit the date because already we have set the date and time to be defaults. So we are at liberty, or it is safe enough for us to omit it here, because the moment the data gets into the table, Access will automatically add the date and the time, as you can see here. So we skip that, then we go to transaction type. Now we go to supplier stockout type. But guys, something very important is missing. And then so if I may ask you, what do you think is missing? I guess some of you will be saying, well, there's no quantity. Yes, there's no quantity. So sorry about that. So we go to the design view again. Now transaction type. So right after the time, we will have to specify right after this guy, we say quantity, and that is a number. Okay, so now this quantity is a number, so long integer, which is okay for us. Now here we'll have to do some couple of validation. So the validation rule is greater than or equal to 0. So if this validation is breached, we say that invalid value entered in the quantity field. Please enter again. Okay. So now this is what we have, we save. Now the transaction table is also complete. So we open, we go to create again, form wizard, transaction ID, product ID. Now we have quantity, transaction type, supplier, stockout type. Go to next. Okay, so now here we go to column now, and now let us do FRM transactions. Modify the forms design. Okay guys, so here we are. Alright, so now here I will select everything, size to the widest. Alright. Okay, so let's select this. Now size 12, we choose this guy. So here too, let me add my favorite colon. Now here I will do quantity. So transaction type, supplier, and now we have this, and then now we have this. Alright guys, so now here we say transactions. So transactions. Okay, so we select this guy, this, now everything here. Alright guys, so now let us view this form to see. So now this is how our form is actually looking. Now this form cannot be used without inserting it in a parent form. So this is going to be inserted in a product form as a subform. Alright, so what am I really saying? Now to proceed, I would like us to omit or remove this record selector. So we go to design view. So right in here in the design view, we select this to highlight record selector no. So once record selector is set to no, you realize that the record selector is now gone. Okay. So guys, the next thing I would like us to do is, as usual, bring some button, have some buttons here. So we are going to the products, we are going to copy the buttons that we already have here, because it's basically going to perform the same function. Now we paste them here. Yeah, so now we have everything here. So in this case we say new transactions. Now save change, delete, clear transactions. Okay, so this is what we have here. Alright guys, so now let us go on to see what we can do next. Alright, so to proceed, we go to the form, we go to the product form. Now right in here in the product form, we are going to create a duplicate. So right click, copy, and then paste. And now we are going to say FRM trans profiles. Then we hit OK. Okay, so now we are here, and at this point we click design view. We wouldn't need these buttons here, guys. So the next thing we will do is that we create a space here, and now the transaction form that we created, we come to insert that over here. Alright, so guys, now here we are. So let me remove this guy, and now in fact I'll right click this special effects, I'll choose this. Alright, so now we will have to create some couple of a relationship needs to be created as well. So guys, you need not make this one big, no need for you to enlarge this, it just has to be manageable. The size needs to be manageable right in here, because we will be setting the vertical anchor and the horizontal anchor. So here what we'll do is that horizontal anchor should be set to both, and then vertical anchor should be set to both as well. So what does this do? So what this does is that anytime you open this form, the form actually stretches itself automatically. Yeah, so by doing that you are actually keeping control. You are keeping control of the sizes of the various forms in the design view. Alright, so guys, now let's bring this guy downwards a bit. Alright, so now let's check whether the relationship is created, because we need to link these two forms using the product ID. So I will select this guy, data. So here nothing has been linked, so we click in here. Now master field, we use ID. Now here too we use the product ID. Okay, so now once you see the link master fields, the ID and the respective column names coming here, it means that the relationship has now been created. Okay, so now let's see what this means. So this time around, if you select any product, you realize that the product ID automatically comes here. So it means that whatever records that you enter over here will automatically come to the transaction table with that particular respective with the particular product ID, and this helps access to be able to this now will help you to be able to use this for any further relationships in the future if they need be. Alright, so for instance, let's suppose I want to stock in notebooks. I will go to quantity, I want to stock in 100, then I'll go to transactions type, it's a stocking type. So if it is a stocking type, then supplier, I will choose my supplier. Then now this will have to be left blank, and we will save this change. Okay, so now we can refresh. Again, we can go to new. So these same products, so quantity, now let's say quantity is 30, maybe transaction type, it was stock out, supplier, sorry, stock out, then stock out means was maybe bought, then we save change. So we can also add another one. So quantity, maybe 150, transaction type was stocking, supplier, and we save this guy. So let's do for another product. So rice kg, quantity here, let's say is 300, transaction type is stocking, supplier we select, sorry, then we select office depot or fresh foods, then we save. So new transaction, let's say 23, transaction type stock out type, which was spot or something else, then we select. So if you want to do for a different product, you simply come in here, USB cable, let's say HDMI adapter, so you select. Now the ID, so you can see the ID here match this particular ID, which is exactly what we want to achieve. This quantity here, so let's say the quantity here is 700, transaction type is actually stocking, now supplier, so let's say Style Hub, and now we can save. Let's add one more transaction quantity, so it's, let's say 30, transaction type stock out type is other something else, then yeah. So maybe we can do for t-shirts. So quantity here, let's say is 500, transaction type is stocking, and now that is the only thing I would like to add. Okay, so now once we come here and refresh, you can see that all our data is coming in here automatically as we want. So now this is exactly what we want to achieve. In fact, this is the most important phase of the whole project. Now the next thing I would like us to do is to lock these two ID fields so that user would not be the user will not be tempted to even, or will not be tempted to even go and then do any kind of things here. So we'll go to design view. Now first here, product ID enabled, I'll say no. Locked, yes. So here too the same thing, enabled, no. Locked, yes. All right, so here it is product ID. All right guys, so now let's see what this actually does. So you can see here, the moment you set enable to no and then lock to yes, the user is now not able to actually touch. And I think transaction ID should also be, we should do the same thing. So how do you do it? You simply click in the control, not the label guys, is a control here. You set enable to no, lock is yes. All right, so this is exactly what we want. All right, so at this point guys, before we go ahead to calculate the remaining stock or the stock balance, let us go on to insert a data sheet that will keep track of the stock ins and the stock outs for us. So to do that, we will need a query to achieve this. So let me close this guy. So we go to create query design. Now we will need a transaction table in our query, and then here we will need the products. So this point in time we need the time, we will need date and time will be needed, quantity, transaction type. So these are a lot of things I will need just to keep it as simple as possible. Now I will click here and I will say QRI stocks. Okay, so I will save this. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, so we save, we run. Now this is our query. Okay, so we are going to create our data sheet form right on this very query. So to do that, we go to create form wizard. Right here in the form wizard, we double click this arrow to pull up all fields. Now we go to next, data sheet is exactly what we need. Next, so here we'll say FRM data sheet. Now we hit OK. Alright guys, so now this is what we have. The next thing I would like us to do is to select this, and then so there's some couple of things we can do here. So here too, you can go to FRM data sheet. The background color you can set it to, it's already set to white, but then the alternate color can be set to none. And then also you can do alignments and everything else if you really want to do. Now the next thing you can also do is to add some totals. So you can click here to add totals, and now the total I would like to add is sum. Yeah. Okay guys, so this is all that I would like to do to this very form. So if you also want to change the labels, you go to design views and then easily feel free, you can easily click in any of these. If you want to change, just click in here and then you make changes to this. Okay guys, so now we save this, we close it, we close this. Now here is many of you have reached out to me having issues when it comes to this very phase. Now the data sheet, where should it be inserted? Should it be inserted on the parent form? Now know that we do not necessarily want to set that on the in this case, even if you set it on the parent form, you are good to go, because the parent form also have product ID, and then this also has a product ID. Okay, but then what I would like us to do is to insert it in the transactions table. So we go to next. Sorry, before that, so we go to the transactions table instead, design view, then we click and add it up here neatly. Okay, so here I'll show this. But then the outline, I wouldn't like to show anything else. Before that, let me bring this guy down. Okay, so guys, now let's set the anchoring. So to set the anchor, you select it as I've done. Now horizontal anchor is both, vertical anchor is also both as well. Alright, now the next thing is we check whether the relationship is or has been created. Products in this product column, in this for product field, in this column needs to be linked with the product column in this particular form as well. So go data. So here it hasn't been done, so we click here to check. Now automatically Access is able to smartly identify the supposed fields in the relationship, and that is exactly what we want. So we are good to go. So now let's go to form view to see. So you see that now when you select any product, the various stocks will also show, which is very much neat and which is very clean. So let's close this guy. Now we go to FRM transactions profile. So if you select t-shirt, you can see that these are the various stocks of t-shirt. If you select notebook, these are the various stocks of notebook. So let's suppose t-shirt, you do a transaction, new, quantity, let's suppose it's 40, transaction type, let's suppose it's stock out. You stock out type, maybe spot or something, or bought, let's use bought. You save this transaction. Now the moment you refresh it out here, you can see that everything comes here automatically. Everything comes automatically. Okay, so this is exactly what we want to do. So now to make these to put you at a safer side, you can see that although we click the save, but the transaction wasn't automatically put over here because it was saving here, it was saving the record in the sub form. So you will have to do an outer refreshing. So to put you at a safer side, what you can do is that here you can add a button here. You can add a button here. So this button, you can actually go to form operations, refresh form data, and now but then you can choose to name it refresh. So let's click here. Now I will choose this. Great. All right, so now once we click here, HDMI adapter, so these are the various transactions. So let us add one more transaction. So quantity maybe is 12, transaction type was stock out, and then it was actually spot, and then we can save. So once you refresh here, you can see that automatically it comes here. So guys, now our transaction is 100% completed in Microsoft Asset. Now the next phase of this very project is to create the most important thing that many of you have been waiting for. How do we then show the quantity available? How do we compute the quantity available for each product? Guys, the ride is getting very interesting, as we can see. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button so that you wouldn't miss any of our videos. Also, you are being reminded of our course that is coming on the 5th to 8th of July 2025. Kindly do scan the QR code or check in the description for the registration link. Guys, register and join me up there to learn POS development using Microsoft Asset. It's going to be very interesting and amazing. All right, so now let us go on to do the completion phase of this project. So now we go to create. We want to show the quantity at hand or available quantity. Okay, so here we go to query design. Now we need a product. Okay, so guys, sorry, before we come here, we will need to create 2 more additional queries, which is okay. So because of that, we wouldn't need this for now. Sorry, so instead let's bring transactions. Okay, so product ID, quantity, okay, then transaction type. Now here in transaction type, we are going to filter. So the first one is stock in. Sorry, so it's stock in. Now here we click totals. The expression you entered contains invalid syntax. So let's say QRY stock ins. Wow, what is happening? Really, we cannot add a hyphen? Alright guys, so here we are having a very weird error here. So let's see, stock in. Okay, so let us actually exit the whole thing and then go to transactions. We have stock in. So it seems access is not accepting the hyphen, which is quite weird, but then we can easily modify that by coming in here and then removing the hyphen. So you go to next and then finish. Stock in, stock out, stock in, stock in, stock out, stock in, stock out, stock in, stock out, and then stock out. Okay, so alright guys, so now let's go back to our query. So let's go back to our query. Let's go back to create a query. So go to create query design, tables, transaction, product ID, now quantity, transaction type. Okay, so here now this time around we expect things to work for us. So stock in and we are good to go. So let's run. Okay, so it works for us. So Control S to save. Now we say QRY stock ins. Alright, so the next thing is that this has to be a summary query. So for each product we will need this query to show the total quantity stocked in so far. So we go to stock totals. Now group by, so we are grouping by product ID. Alright, now the quantity here will have to be, so this here grouping by quantity we are going to sum, and now go to next. Okay, so it shows that product 2, this is the total stock in, product 3 is total stock in. So we can also conveniently add the products. We can bring in here the products and then we join it to this guy. Why are we doing this? So that we can also add the product name as well. Okay, so this is convenient enough, so we save. Now we make a duplicate of this very query, so Control C to copy, then Control V to paste, and now we can see that QRY stock out. Okay, then we go to okay. So there is not much to be done to this form. This query. The only thing we need to do is to do stock out here. So this time around we aren't filtering to show stock in because we've already done that, and that is this guy here. So we will have to filter to show the stock out too. So we click run, and now we have that guy also neatly shown here. Okay, so the next thing is to join these two queries together with the various products, and that will actually with that we'll be able to calculate the remaining stock. Okay, so go to query design again, and this time around we will need these products, and then we will also need the queries that we've created, these two queries, stock in and then stock out. Alright, so here we join ID to product ID. Now here too we do similarly here. Now we double click and you make sure that you always check the second option. You click here, make sure that you check the second option always. Okay, so at this point we have ID, product name. Now we have sum of quantity from stock in, sum of quantity from stock out. So let us run this query to see. So now when you run this query, you see that Microsoft Access shows you all products. So the reason why it is convenient to do the stock available computation this way is that with this way the balance would automatically be computed, and then also every product either we have stocked in or stocked we have no, either every product that we have in a product table will pop up, either there is an associated transaction, either the associated records in the transaction table or not, it is still going to pop up over here for us, which is exactly what we want to do. So now the next thing we would want to do is to, this time around, you can see that if there aren't any records in transaction table, it shows blank, and that isn't something we would like to do. So instead, we are going to tell Microsoft Access that, hey, so let's go on to see something here. So instead, what we do is that we right click here, we go to build. So so here we say that stock outs. Now we'll say NZ. So the NZ, now if it is now from QRY, stock ins dots quantity, then if it is now, you should put 0 there. So now we hit OK. Now we'll do the same thing here. So here we do stock out, then NZ. Now if it is QRY, stock out dot quantity, if it is now. So what we have actually instructed Access to do is that if there aren't any records in transactions, if there aren't stock ins or stock out, if it is now, then kindly put 0 there. So let us run this query to see. Okay, so Access a duplicate alias stock out. Sorry guys. So this has to be stock in. This has to be stock in because we are pulling it from the stock in query. Okay, so right here we click run, and then guys, you can see now it is very much convenient for us here. So 0 0. So now let's to check that everything is working, let's do some couple of transactions to see the update. So we are going to do a transaction to rise. Let us stock out by 10. Okay, so here we go. We select rise, new transaction type is stock out, and then quantity, let's suppose it's 10, and now we can refresh the transaction. Okay, so let's check here, and now you can see it's 33. 23 plus 10 and gives you 33. So this one is very much ideal, and I believe 100% that there wouldn't be any troubles with this approach to your inventory. In fact, this is a very useful way of creating this model. Okay guys, so now let us save this. So we'll say QRY stock balance. Okay, so now the next thing is for us to calculate the stock balance. So we go to design view. Now we come in here, build, and I will say that balance. So balance has to be stock in minus stock out. Total stock in minus total stock out, and that is what we have here. Total stock in minus total stock out. Now the next thing is for us to add the reorder level. So reorder level is here. Okay, so now here we tell Access that if the balance is less than reorder level, then issue some couple of comments. So let's do that simply here. So we say comment. So if balance is less than reorder level, if balance is less than reorder level, then say that you are running out of stock, else sufficient stock. Okay, so that is as simple as possible. It's as simple as that. Sorry. So we click here to run. Okay, so now here you can see you are running out of stock because balance is 0. We have 50. This is sufficient stock because reorder level is 30 and we have 20. Sufficient stock, you're running out of stock as well. Alright guys, so the next thing we are going to do before we come to create this reorder reports, let us create a form that will tell us the reorder level and then the comment as well. So simply go to create form wizard. Now here reorder level and then the comments. So we go to next and then columnar, modify the form design. Okay, so we can even remove this guy here guys. Now we can remove this and then we keep this guy here. Then instead we add a balance, add existing field, the balance. So we add the balance here. Okay, so balance comes here. Then after the balance we issue a comment. Okay, so let me select the whole of this. Now 12, we bold this here, shape outline, transparent, italic, and then we can actually use a green color. Okay guys, so here center aligned. Alright, so now let's see. Now this is what we have done here. So also, in fact, we will have to bold these guys. Then double click here. Now here, sorry, let's select this. Enabled no, lock is yes. Here too, enabled no, lock is yes. Alright guys, so the next thing we will have to do is to insert that in the transaction profile. So we come in here. Now I will actually add. So let me copy this guy and then paste it here. So we add this here, and in fact we can select the whole of this, and then the horizontal anchor we set it to right, so that anytime we view this, when we view this form, it will automatically go to the right hand side. And we can do the same thing to the photo. We select this, we pull it to the right hand side. So once you come in here, this comes to the right hand side for you. So now that we can conveniently insert the form that we just created here. Okay guys, so here I will select this guy, then let me keep it here. Okay, so before then, okay, we can even leave this guy here. So this time around, shape outline, we actually select transparent, and then we make sure that it is automatically joined. So let us view this form and see. So you can see that when you view this form, this is how it actually looks. So to make it look, to improve the look or to make it more appealing, what you can do is that you can click here. Now record selector, you do away with record selector. Navigation buttons, you also do away with navigation buttons. So we come in here, and now this is what we have. So anytime you select a product, Access tells you the balance, and then it tells you whether it's sufficient or it's not sufficient. So HDMI adapter, this is what we have, sufficient or it's not sufficient, and we have the transaction details also in here. Alright guys, so now the final thing I would like us to do, because of time I wouldn't like to make this lengthy. There are a lot more of these things that we'll be doing in the POS system creation. So guys, I am encouraging all of you to be there. Alright, so here now we can create a final report. So we go to create report wizard. So we put a product name. Now total stock in, total stock out, balance, that's all we need. Next. So maybe another thing we can do is to add the comments instead, and then let me do it again. Stock in, stock out, balance, comments. Next, product name, next, tabular, yes. Alright guys, so now design view, and now we can see that stock balances. So stock balances. Okay guys, so now you can see this is a report that's one of the reports that will be very essential in this very project. It tells you every product, the quantity available, the total stock in total stock, our balance, and then the comment. So how can you improve this report? So there are so many ways you can actually improve this report. You can select this, and then you choose a black color. You can choose to bold these guys here, and you can choose to also center align these guys. All right, the next thing that we can, so let's preview to see. So this is how now it looks. So you can also choose to center align this as well. Center align this as well, and now I think it looks more elegant. Then there are so many ways that we can improve this report. The design and aesthetics, well, is not of primary importance or focus in this very tutorial. My goal is to show you how you can come by a stock in stock out database in Microsoft Access, which we have really accomplished with less emphasis placed on design. So guys, so I believe that you guys have really loved this very ride, and in fact this will be made available as well to you, so feel free to check in there, and then just adjust it any way that you want. I hope that you guys have really loved, you are really in love with my channel, and I thank you so much for your tremendous support as well, guys. If you have, so I look forward to seeing you in the class. Register and let us learn POS system development. Thank you. See you in the next videos. Bye bye.